You ever play a game that never really leaves you? A game that, no matter how many years pass, still feels like home every time you boot it up? For me, that game is Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. Hey everyone, this is LK Gaming, and today I want to share something a little more personal. Why I keep coming back to Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, even after all these years. If you've ever hunted a Yian Kutku for the 10th time, or screamed when Tigrex carded you again, then this video is for you. And if you love Monster Hunter as much as I do, don't forget to hit subscribe. It really helps a lot and lets me keep sharing these moments from a game that's been a big part of my life. Monster Hunter Freedom Unite was the very first game I ever played in the Monster Hunter series. It came out for the PlayStation Portable, back when handheld gaming still had that special kind of magic. Back when you could spend hours on a single mission, battery blinking red, but you just couldn't put the PSP down. It's the kind of game that didn't care if you were new. It didn't explain much. It just dropped you into a snowy little village, handed you a rusty sword, and said, "Good luck out there." That village, Pock Village, felt so peaceful. The gentle snow, the quiet music, the way the wind sounded between hunts. It became my home base, my safe place, a spot I'd always come back to after every victory and every failure. For those who've never played it, Freedom Unite is a hunting action RPG where you face off against massive monsters in different environments. From frozen mountains to sweltering deserts, deep jungles to ancient ruins. You gather materials, craft weapons and armor, and grow stronger through sheer effort and persistence. There are no shortcuts, no easy modes. You don't level up your character, you level up yourself. Through patience, through failure, through practice. My first hunt? It was a total disaster. I missed every swing. I rolled into attacks. I got trampled, poisoned, and knocked out, and I remember sitting there thinking, how do people even beat these things? But every mistake felt like a lesson. Every time I got carded, I learned something new. How to time a dodge. How to wait for the right moment to strike. And eventually, that moment came. The first time I finally defeated my first Gyadrome. It wasn't just a win. It was proof that I could improve. Not because the game made me stronger, but because I did. There's something raw and honest about how Freedom Unite plays. Every swing has weight. Every movement has consequence. You can't just rush in and mash buttons. You have to learn the rhythm of the hunt. You study the monster, its roar, its movements, the little tells before an attack. You wait. You plan. And when it all comes together, when you dodge that tail swipe perfectly, land a charged hit, and the monster staggers, that moment feels earned. That's what makes it special. It's not about luck. It's about learning, adapting, and enduring. And that, to me, is what Monster Hunter has always been about. Not just fighting monsters, but fighting the urge to give up. Back then, multiplayer wasn't just joining an online lobby. It was shoulder to shoulder with your friends. Sitting in the same room, each holding your PSP, leaning forward as you called out, "Trap's ready!" Or, "It's limping, go!" No voice chat. No fancy graphics. Just pure teamwork. And a lot of laughter when someone fainted. Someone always brought the wrong items. Someone always forgot to sharpen their weapon. And every time we failed, we just laughed, promised to do better, and tried again. Those moments created friendships that went beyond the game. Even now, when I play solo, I can still feel those echoes, those memories. It's like the ghosts of those hunts are still there, laughing, cheering, failing, and trying again. When that quest complete jingle plays, I can't help but smile. It's like hearing a song from your childhood, one that instantly takes you back to a time when life was simpler and all that mattered was landing that final hit. So why do I keep coming back to Monster Hunter Freedom Unite? It's not because it's easy. In fact, it's one of the hardest games I've ever played. But that's exactly why I love it. It challenges me, not just as a gamer, but as a person. When you spend hours getting crushed by a Tigrex or Rajang, and finally beat it after countless tries, that feeling can't be replaced. There's no trophy, no achievement pop-up, just silence, and that overwhelming satisfaction of knowing I did it. In a world where everything's faster, simpler, and built for convenience, Freedom Unite reminds me to slow down, to take things step by step, to learn, to fail, to try again. It's not a game that gives you everything. It's a game that makes you earn everything. And maybe that's why I can't let it go. Because every hunt, every challenge, shows me a reflection of who I was, and who I've become since then. Every time I load the game, that familiar title screen fades in, and for a moment, it's like no time has passed. I remember sitting in my room, the glow of the PSP screen lighting up my hands, the sound of snow in Pak Village, the smell of late-night coffee as I told myself, just one more hunt. I remember my first weapon, a simple great sword that felt impossibly heavy. I remember crafting my first armor, grinding for parts one didn't even know how to pronounce. And I remember that moment, the first time I defeated a monster that once scared me to death. That's the thing about Freedom Unite. It's not just a game I used to play. It's a memory, a milestone, a part of who I am as a gamer. Even now, all these years later, the hunt still feels alive. Every roar, every flash, every desperate heal still gets my heart racing. Monster Hunter Freedom Unite taught me patience. It taught me that real progress doesn't come easy, that effort matters more than luck, and that sometimes failure isn't the end, it's the start of understanding. When I face tough challenges in life, I think back to those hunts, those long nights of trial and error, because that's what this game is really about, growth through struggle. Maybe that's why I still love it, because it reminds me that success feels sweeter when you've earned every bit of it. So yeah, that's why I keep playing, because every hunt still means something, because every monster still teaches me something new, and because sometimes the hardest games are the ones that stay with you forever. If you've ever felt the same way, tell me in the comments. What's your favorite memory from Monster Hunter Freedom Unite? Who is your first monster? Your biggest rival? And if you enjoyed this little trip down memory lane, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps a lot and keeps me inspired to make more.